Thanks for listening. My name is Charisse. I'm a licensed property and casualty professional with over 25 years experience in the property and casualty insurance industry. I'm also a state-certified continuing education instructor. Just a reminder, while I am a licensed property and casualty professional, I am not an attorney. Everything shared in this episode is for informational and educational purposes only. Every situation is unique, and laws and insurance policies vary by state and circumstance. For advice specific to your situation, please consult a qualified attorney or licensed insurance professional. Tune in every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for real-life claim stories, expert insights, and practical tips to help you better understand how property insurance really works before disaster strikes. Whether you're a homeowner, renter, condo or townhome owner, or landlord, we've got you covered. My next episode starts now. Welcome back to another episode of Property Talk. I'm your host, Charisse, your Ask the Expert property insurance consultant. Today, we're diving into a true condo catastrophe that every homeowner, and especially condo owners, needs to hear. Spoiler alert, it starts with laundry, ends with a lot of water, and includes some very expensive surprises. This is a real water damage horror story. Charles's condo catastrophe and insurance lessons are invaluable. Charles, thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me, Charisse. Let's just say I'll never look at my washing machine the same way again.
You live in a downtown high-rise, which usually makes life pretty convenient. But I hear laundry day didn't go quite as planned. What happened?
Right. I live on the 8th floor of a nice building, close to work. That morning, I threw in a load of laundry before heading to the office. I figured I'd come home to clean clothes, efficiency. But a few hours later, I got a call from building maintenance. They said water was seeping into the hallway from under my front door. Wait, what? I was trying to process what I was hearing. My heart just sank. They asked for permission to go in, and I immediately said yes while I bolted out of work and rushed home.
Walk us through it. Describe what you saw when you walked into your condo.
You could see water was everywhere. My living room rug, completely soaked, squishing with every step. My hardwood floors, buckled and warped like a roller coaster. The boards were lifting right in front of me. The bottom of the couch absorbed water from underneath, and the coffee table legs were sitting in little puddles. Even my TV setup wasn't safe. The TV stand was sitting in soaked carpet, and the power strip was half submerged in water. Now here's the kicker. My utility closet, where the washer and dryer are, backs right up against my kitchen wall. So when that hose snapped, water didn't just spill into the living room, it migrated through the wall straight into my kitchen. The lower cabinets were dripping at the seams, the baseboards were swelling, and when I opened one cabinet door, there were puddles pooling under my pots and pans. My throw rugs were saturated. The paint on the baseboards was already peeling, and that wet, musty odor, it was creeping through the whole space like the condo was turning into its own swamp.
Wow, that is such a vivid picture. And I can imagine the shock of seeing your nice condo and beautiful furniture damaged.
Exactly. And just when I thought, okay, this is really bad, the building manager stopped by to let me know there was another problem. She says, you need to see the unit below yours. Just between you and I and your listeners. That was the last thing I wanted to hear. Not the unit below me, too.
Oh my, so it wasn't just your place?
Not even close. We went down to the 7th floor, and honestly, it was worse. My neighbor's ceiling looked like a giant water balloon ready to burst. Huge brown stains spreading like ink blots, paint bubbling and peeling. Water was streaming steadily onto their living room floor, and right onto this gorgeous sectional sofa they had just bought. The cushions were soaked, fabric 2 shades darker from the water. The hardwood floors, oh man, slick with puddles already starting to cup. One of their light fixtures had water dripping right through it, and the bulb was flickering like something out of a horror movie. Even the walls weren't safe. You could see water slinking downward, the drywall soft to the touch. It was heartbreaking. Their place looked like it had been hit by an indoor rainstorm. It was clear water from my broken washing machine hose was running for hours.
I can only imagine that moment of dread. Did you run into your neighbor? Was she at home?
Yes, she had just got home too, and she was standing there when I walked in, holding a stack of towels like she didn't even know where to start. She looked at me and said, "Charles, is this all from your unit?" And my stomach just dropped. I stammered, "Yes, I'm so sorry, my washing machine hose broke. I had no idea this could happen." She wasn't yelling, but she was clearly overwhelmed. She even said, "I just finished redecorating in here last month." And all I could think was, not only had my condo turned into a swamp, but I just wrecked my neighbor's beautiful home too. I could see how devastated she was, but still in a bit of shock, The building manager told us to contact our insurance company and get a water mitigation company out ASAP.
And here's where it goes from bad to confusing, right? Because now insurance comes into play. Charles, before we go on, let's explain to our listeners what mitigation is. Mitigation is the action of reducing the severity, seriousness, or painfulness of something. In the case of your homeowner's insurance policy, mitigation is the act of reducing and preventing more damage to your home. Now, Charles, here's where your condo catastrophe and insurance lessons come into play. Let's talk about it.
So I knew I had condo insurance, but I'd never really read the fine print. I trusted my agent when I bought it. He was nice, but when I actually had questions, he couldn't give me the answers that I needed. He told me it would be best to wait until I hear from my adjuster. The claims adjuster did call the same day and made an appointment and came out the next day. As he was walking through my condo, he started asking me a lot of questions, like for the HOA's master policy, plus my own policy. And I'm standing there thinking, what does my HOA have to do with my washing machine hose breaking?
Yep. Welcome to condo life, where even your washing machine drama turns into a group project with the HOA.
Right. I thought the process would be simple. Adjuster shows up, writes an estimate, maybe recommends a contractor, and the neighbor gets their own place fixed too. But nope, it was way more complicated. The adjuster explained, my policy might cover my unit from the walls in, belongings, liability, but the HOA's master policy covers the exterior walls, bare walls, common areas, and sometimes even original fixtures. The neighbor's damage could fall under my liability coverage. An investigation has to be done with all parties involved. My adjuster, my neighbor's adjuster, and the HOA. Suddenly, it felt like I was drowning all over again, and not just from water.
That's the thing about condos. It's not just your policy. It's how your coverage and the HOA's master policy interact. The HOA's master policy typically covers the building structure, roof, exterior walls, and shared spaces. But the details of where that coverage stops can vary widely. Some master policies cover everything up to the bare walls, meaning you're responsible for things like drywall, flooring, cabinets, and fixtures inside your unit. Others are all in, or walls in, extending coverage to the walls and some of those interior finishes, while your policy covers paint and/or wallpaper. The tricky part? When water damage occurs, say from a burst pipe in a shared wall or a roof leak, determining whose policy kicks in can get complicated. Your condo might cover interior damage and personal property, while the HOA's policy covers the source of the leak or the structural repairs. In your case, it was the water hose for your washing machine, not necessarily a plumbing issue from burst pipes. But until those details are sorted out, you're still dealing with the immediate mess. And time isn't on your side when water is dripping everywhere.
Yeah, it was overwhelming.
Charles, looking back on this experience, what insights or takeaways would you love to share with our listeners?
First, hoses break. Replace your washing machine hose. Don't wait for disaster. Check your hoses often. I now have someone come out every 6 months. Second, if you live in a condo, know exactly what your HOA master policy covers versus what your policy covers. And third, document everything. Photos, videos, receipts, notes, it all matters.
And I'll add one more. Have relationships in place before something happens. A mitigation pro, a good insurance agent, maybe even a plumber. Knowing who to call can save you money and your sanity. I have a free water damage preparedness checklist linked in the description. I love reading your comments and stories and interacting with you. If you can relate to Charles's experience or have your own condo story, share them in the comments.
Trust me, I learned that the hard way. Having a checklist would have come in handy.
Charles, thank you for sharing your soggy saga with us. I know it wasn't fun to live through, but you just gave our audience a real education. And for everyone listening, check your hoses and dust off your policies, because the time to learn is before the disaster happens. Until next time, stay dry, stay informed, and stay insured.